Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. It is Jack PS9 here, and we are going to be doing a short video on how to get started using New Colony API for colony survival. Okay. So first of all, as you guys can see, I currently have an empty folder here, so we are just gonna quickly call that mod entry, and this needs to be a CS file because we are doing this in Visual Studio in C#. Okay, so then in Visual Studio we have to project from existing code, Visual C#, needs to be a class library. We will call this example mod. No, hold on, I forgot to change a file, or say the location. Okay, so there, example mod, there. Ta-da! No, we don't want to save those changes. We want a whole new. Okay, so now we are here. Okay, and we have our mod entry.cs file, as well as our references. First thing we need to do is go down to properties. Make sure this is a .NET Framework 3.5. Yep. Let that reload. Assembly name, we will call this example mod, and it will be a class library. Okay, so you can just save that, close it. That's basically as far as that's gonna actually go with that. Now that reference isn't complete, but we don't need that reference anyway, so okay, so add reference, browse, we need to go to your colony survival folder. For most people, okay, it would be under your C drive and then program files 86 if you're running a 64-bit. And then yeah, they just then Steam common, little Steam apps common, and then yeah. So what we need to do is we need to go back here because we need to go into colony survival under _data. Managed. We need assembly C#. We need Steam Engine and Steam Engine UI. That's just the ones that this thing, yeah, that's required. Okay. However, we are also going to want New Colony API that can be downloaded from the GitHub. It is on the Steam page for colony survival, because I can just come here. I know you guys can't see what I'm doing yet, but I'll show you guys momentarily. Under mods. Okay. So as you guys can see under colony survival, okay, under discussions, and then you go to mods showcase, there is a thread called New Colony API. Okay, this is the API we're going to be using to create mods. So, yay! So you guys can actually just click that, and it'll bring you here. You can download it, or okay, you can use my colony survival mod manager to also download it. You just extract it. You run the exe. You click on update config, and yeah. So there you go. Okay. Okay. Anyways, let's back out of that. So as I was saying, okay, we need those files. All right. I'm just gonna go here and then go to New Colony API and then New Colony API.dll. We need to add that. We also need to go into Pipla's under mods API provider. And lastly, we need Pipla's base game.dll as well. Yay, okay. All the references are now set up, so that is completely and utterly done. Yay me. Right? No. Okay. So thankfully, 1 second guys. So first of all, we need, well, this is just at a habit. So a habit or jack ps9 dot, and we will call this example mod. Normally, this isn't my typical namespace to go with, but due to the fact that I'm trying to show you guys everything from point A, okay, it's just easier if I don't use my typical namespace, because if I use my namespace, then parts of my code are going to look different from you guys's. So, yeah. Okay, then we also need to go with mod loader, mod manager. And this needs to be a public static class. We'll call this example mod. Okay. We also need a function for the typical game mod loader to load this in through. Everything I'm currently doing right now is actually entirely through the base game mod loader. Just letting you guys know. So, assembly loaded, and it takes a string path. Okay. We also need to add a callback to this, so we want mod loader mod callback, mod loader emod callback type, and we want on assembly loaded, and it also takes a identifier. So what I typically do for this is I would go public const string naming equals, and I will just put in my naming convention for this one, which would be jackps9.exampleMod. That way I can just go naming plus quotations and then go like that. Why is that not taking it? Oh, got a semicolon. Okay, that's now done. Yay. So a couple things we're gonna need is to hold on to where our mod folder is. And I also suggest doing this as well. Public const string mod name. Keep going example. It's example mod. Sorry about that. Okay, so the reasons for these two are because NewColonyAPI for a lot of things actually asks for the mod name. So it's just easier. If you really wanted to, you could also just use your naming convention, actually. Forgot the dot at the end of naming, but yeah. I just go with a mod name and a naming thing because naming is for all the callbacks and mod name is what I pass into my API when it requires a name. Okay, so we need to go mod folder is equal to path dot, no, not that path, path. Okay, so we need to be using system.io to get the path type that we want, and we need get directory name, and we just pass in path. So what this will do is this will get the full path up to the path except for the file name, so like it'll remove the file name for us. so we don't have to worry about that, which is always helpful. Okay, so me actually being me, there's also one more thing I tend to do with this, and this is just out of habit. Replace. Basically to make sure that all my strings are properly set up the way I need it to. Yay. Okay, so typically in here, if you have any other folders, like a localization folder, actually, I guess localization folders I've kind of made semi-obsolete in the newest version of the API, and I'll show you guys later. But one thing you guys are definitely gonna need is a public static version, okay, which requires us to be using system. And we call this, well, I call it mod version, and it needs to be equal to a new version. Okay, and this will be, because it's a brand new mod, it's an example mod. Oh, sorry, I'm used to hitting period for versions lately when I need to be putting in commas, because it takes a major, a minor, and a build, and then a reversion. For the version, I think you only need to actually use 2 in total. Yeah, you can either pass it a string or a major and a minor. But me being me, I passed all 4. Okay. But as I was saying, like all your document or all your folder kind of things would also go here for easier access in the coding. Okay. 1 second, guys. Just need to load something up really quick. Is it? Yeah, okay. Just have to remember what callback I had to do this next part in. Because, like, once you do this callback, you basically, like, never have to touch it again, so, yeah. Okay, so, we need this to go mod loader dot mod callback, and we need it to be of type after startup. Quick thing about after startup is that this part will actually probably end up changing, just because the game or the devs are actually considering of just removing this callback altogether. Just warning you guys. If it does, there's another callback that I believe was recently added that's supposed to take its place when it does happen. But for right now, this is how you do it. So we need naming plus after startup. And we also need to wait until a specific, or sorry, we need to make sure that this callback of ours for this happens before the API's callback. And the callback identifier for that, which we pass here. Ooh, whoops. It's not that I need that. It is provides 4, sorry. Okay, now we pass it Fentrix games.NewColonyAPI, and then after startup. Then you just name it whatever you want. It's a void thing again, so I just name it the same thing as the callback, just so that it keeps things clean. For if I end up getting this file big enough, I'll actually make a folder called callbacks, and then just start tossing all my callbacks in there except for this one here. And just like all the data as well will be kept in there as well. Okay. So now what we need to do is we need to make sure our mod works and registers with my API. So what we need to do is we need to go FintrixGames.NewColonyAPI, NewColonyAPI. Oh, sorry, no. Manager, sorry, and mod manager. Register mod. Okay. So as you guys can see, this function can take quite a bit. So what we need to do is we need to first pass it the mod name. Okay. The mod folder. And we can also pass it a mod version. If you want to go into full on what you're able to do with it, you can also pass it a mod or a config folder. So that way it'll load up a configuration for you that's in JSON and people can edit it, and then your mod can read from the API. And whether or not something's enabled, disabled, health amounts, yada yada yada. There's also a mod update URL. So if you have a website and want to keep track of the newest version, you can put that there, and when someone signs, it'll check it for you if you register, to make it that it'll inform people whether or not they're using the newest version. Configuration name, it goes back to the config folder. That's what it's looking for, is a file with that specific name. It defaults to JSON or config.json though. And then you have your dependencies. If any of your dependencies are not enabled, and the mod is and you register your mod, it will actually make it that the person can't play their game. Okay, like it actually locks the game from being able to load or create any worlds. However, okay, dependencies are only able to be mods that use this API. Right now, I think there's like 3 or 4 mods right now that actually use this API of mine. Okay, so we finished that line of code off. We also want to use the logging system. Right. Helpers.utilities.create logs, and we also pass in the mod name for that too. Okay. For the create logs, if you want to rate any logs after this point, you can literally just go back to the helpers in utilities. Okay, and then under write log. Okay, first you need to pass it your mod name, and then whatever you want the message to be. We'll just put that as like test. Okay, and we want this to be this would be so much easier for us using usings, but I'm not, because we need this to be a log type of type info. Okay, actually this would probably be a little bit easier if I just went like that. There we go, much prettier. Okay. Okay, so I'm actually going to show you guys where things like that actually end up. So we're back in the colony survival, like Jack PS9 folder, right? So back into colony, new colony API, game data, error logs, anything that uses the create log setup will end up in here. Okay. And to show you guys that this is actually working, we're gonna go build solution. We are gonna open that, click on bin, debug, go back here, go example mod. Okay, make sure that's in there. We are also going to want a modinfo.json file. I'm just lazy, so I'm just copying the one from. Want to reload it? No. No. Sorry, I was trying to help people make, we'll fix mods in that earlier. Example mod. The version of this, of course, is that. No, sorry. Yeah, I forgot. You guys can't see it, both screens. That, yes, yes. Okay, we'll actually get rid of all of that. Because, yeah, that doesn't make a difference. Okay, so as you guys can see, this is what your modinfo.json would typically look like. There's other things too that you guys can add if you want to use a typical game mod loading system, but when registering, anyways, my API actually takes the mod loader setup and takes it actually a little bit further. So, yay. So we're gonna open the colony survival thing. Okay. And as you guys can see, current version of the game. It's also loaded up the example mod, new colony API, all the pipless stuff, saying that it's up to date. Okay, so when you write logs, also, it will also display in the server.exe as well. So, yay. And if we go back here, right, error logs, we can go example mod. At least it should go in there. Huh. Or is it a type issue? Hold on a second. Actually, I'm gonna just call this video here. For right now, I will be back in probably about 5-10 minutes. Just gotta basically grab a drink, probably turn the AC back on because it's like almost 30+ degrees in this apartment right now. So yeah, I will see you guys later. Bye bye for now.